Cruise Control with Abbas Alawati
on TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to Cruise Control. This is Abbas with you, and today is a special day. And you know, I say that it's a special day whenever I have a guest in the studio. And today I have Mr. Hamoud Suleiman Saif Al-Abri, who is a representative of the state audit. Now, in case you don't know what state audit is, he is here to tell us what it is. So first of all, welcome, sir, to the studio and to the show.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, and I've got a bunch of questions to ask you, and I'll straight away jump to the list of questions. So now, for people out there who don't know what state audit is, would you please give us a glance to the state audit institution law?
Yes. The state audit institution law is, as well as its organizational structure, have witnessed several areas of developments and modernization over the past 5 decades.
Okay.
These developments and modernizations were crowned by the issuance of the Royal Decree number 111 in 2011, which expanded the roles of the state audit institution as well as its functions and responsibilities. Recently, also, the state audit institution was restructured by the Royal Decree number 73/2022 to align with the objectives of Oman's Vision 2040 related to the effectiveness and the comprehensiveness of auditing, and also to improve the internal organization environment of the institution and the transition to a lean structure.
Oh, wow. Okay. I come from a audit background, by the way, before I started the radio.
I see.
So this is really interesting to know what goes on behind the state audit. So what are the main objectives and roles of the state audit institution?
Yes, the main objectives or functions of state audit institution is mainly to promote of quality or qualified governance and transparency and integrity.
Right.
Yes, the legislator outlined in the state audit law a number of objectives. Let me state some of them. The institution is tasked to protect state public funds and to ensure the adequacy of traditional and automated internal control system within the government and the integrity of financial transactions as well. Also, state audit institution is tasked to make sure of the implementing laws, rules, regulations, decisions taken or by, in respect with the subjects.
Right.
Also to protect or to prevent conflicts of interest and financial and administrative irregularities.
Makes sense.
Yes. Also, the state audit institution has to expose the financial violations by the auditees or the government bodies.
Right.
In addition to these, one of the main tasks, state audit institution is tasked to evaluate the performance of the auditees and to ensure that they use the resources economically, efficiently, and effectively. And this is very important. Those were the main objectives of state audit institution.
Wow, it seems like there are a lot of objectives. I mean, how do you guys do it though? There's so many things to cover. I mean, see, like I said, I'm from an audit background, and I know that every element that you mention now, it's
very important.
It requires a lot of focus and a lot of hard work to get that objective completed. So, what are the entities subject to the audit of the institution?
The legislator specified in the law the entities that are subject to the audit of the institution, and we can mention them quickly. First, the units of state administrative apparatus, unless exempted by special provision in their decree of their establishment.
Right.
So, if they are not exempted, all are under the or subject to the audit of the institution.
Makes sense. All right.
Yes. Also, we have the public authorities, establishments, and other autonomous legal entities.
Okay.
Investments and pension funds, as well as the other governmental funds.
Oh, even pension funds fall under this category.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we have the companies that are fully owned by the government, or those where government shareholdings, whether exclusively or collectively, is more than 40% of the share capital. Also, we have private funds that are managed or supervised by any of the entities subject to the audit of the institution.
Okay. Well, Mr.
Yes.
Hamoud, I have a few more questions. I know I have a lot of questions and you can see them on my table right now.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a break. And once we come back, I'll ask you the questions that I have remaining right here on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control with Abbas Al-Lawati.
On TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
Hello and welcome back. This is Abbas with you, and with me I have Mr. Hamoud Suleiman Al-Abri, who is the State Audit Representative. And so far, I've asked him questions like, would you give us a glance on the State Audit Institution law? What are the main objectives and roles of the State Audit Institution? And what are the entities subject to the audit of the institution? And welcome back, Mr. Hamoud.
Hi, Abbas. Thank
I mean,
you.
he didn't go anywhere. He was with me here, but welcome back regardless.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now, so what are the steps of the auditing process? How do they implement that?
Our work in the state of audit of institution comprise of mainly 4 steps.
Okay.
So the auditing process has 4 main steps, which are planning and execution, reporting, and the last one is the follow-up and monitoring.
Right.
So when we are talking about planning phase, surely it includes the overall risk assessment and determining concerning risk priorities and such things. The next step is the execution, which addresses the policies and procedures in which are to be followed by the state audit institution during the audit process itself. Then we come to the reporting phase, which states the policies and procedures that shall be taken during the reporting itself, which includes, of course, the properties and contents of the audit report, as well as the report criteria, characterized, of course, by the quality. Finally, of this process is the final thing is the follow-up and monitoring phase, which is very important phase, which demonstrates the necessity to follow up or to do analysis for the SAIS members and on objectivity and independence, and thus this focus on how strong the points of being identified, and also how to resolve the such obstacles, and to ensure required performance of corrective implementation for the recommendation being reported.
So now, after you're done with all this work, when all this work is done in the background, what types of reports does the institution issue?
Yeah, well, again, the law, stated that state audit institution has to report or have to issue mainly 3 main reports. Number 1, that reports to lead to examination, and it is mainly technical reports that has to do with the auditing process results, and which includes areas of deficiencies that were discovered, as well as the results of the financial and administrative review. And of course, it should be with recommendations and suggestions for those areas being audited.
That's what a lot of people don't understand, that auditors are not there to point out your mistakes, by the way. They're there to just find out loopholes, and they work with you as a team. They want to fill that hole with you. They don't want to create a bigger hole. Just letting people know out there.
Yeah, exactly. So we do write lots of recommendations for those entities, and we try to work with those entities together to overcome those obstacles. Then we come to the special reports, and these special reports actually are issued and sent to His Majesty the Sultan.
Wow.
Yes, that with the important topics and issues that most matter. And these are the focus on the non-responding entities subject to the audit, with difficulties allowing state audit to conduct its work and perform its proper duties. And finally, let's because we have annual report, and this is very, very important report as well. And this report addresses the SAI or the state audit institution work resulting during the fiscal year. And this annual report is submitted also to His Majesty the Sultan, with 2 copies are sent to the State Council of Ministers and the other one to Shura Council. and this has to be sent by the end of the following fiscal year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And finally, and this we started actually this year, 2022.
Okay.
And hopefully it will continue. It's about the annual community brief.
Okay.
And this report briefs the community about the important outcomes of state audit institution during the fiscal year. And it comes to realize the Oman's Vision's 2040 plan requirements to consolidate transparency, disclosure in a manner that serves the development process in Oman.
Well, I mean, you've already mentioned the value-adding aspects of your work and the reports that you issue, but I'll still ask this question. I'm very sure that there are a lot of other added values that we don't know about. So can you fill me on that what are the added value of the institution's work?
Yes, actually, state audit institution work has many added or many values, and these all based on its auditing work. And this is very important to, state audit institution is considered as the anti-corruption authority in Oman.
Right.
So if we can mention some of these added values, on top of them is the collection and achieving financial savings, of course. Also, the institution has dealt with a number of public funds cases, and convictions were issued in their regards, and the penalties of which were imprisonment, fines, and other kind of penalties. When we are talking about public fund cases, we are talking about forgery in official documents, asking for a bribe, for example.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, wasting public funds, abusing the positions, failure to perform job duties, of course. Also, state audit institution is now launching its campaign in this is your area, media and awareness aspects that aim to attain community partnership and enhance the value of integrity, and to establish culture of protecting public funds through the implementation of many programs, activities, and events.
Right.
This is very worth to mention that the institutions or Oman in general is a party in the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, and the institution has issued the National Plan for Enhancing Integrity, which was, by the way, approved by the Council of Ministers last May in 2022. And in this regard, the institution participates in the international meetings and conferences in the regard of anti-corruption efforts and auditing works as well. And finally, I may say that the institutions pay great attention to the complaints and any communications received from the society through its available communication channels in aspects related to financial and administrative violations, or any failure to perform job duties or abusing the public funds. So, in summary, mainly those are the added values we can mention here.
Audit is all about working for the public, and even when they're working for the public, they're not working against anyone else. They are working with everyone. Like I've mentioned before, they find the loopholes, but they even recommend solutions for that. They don't leave the loopholes the way they are. Thank you, Mr. Hamoud, for coming into the studio and filling us in on the state audit's role. And it was very interesting. And good luck with your work, and inshallah I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
There was Mr. Hamoud, who is a representative of the state audit, and it was really interesting to see what goes on behind closed doors, right? I mean, you can understand someone doing something, but understanding the purpose of that person doing that is what we got today from Mr. Hamoud.